There's a ton of advice online about running form, but in this video I want to show you what's actually been proven by science to make you run faster for longer. I'm a sports scientist, physiotherapist, and former professional triathlete, and I've helped thousands of runners achieve new personal bests. Today I want to give you every science-backed strategy you can use to fix your running form, basically gain free speed and get fewer injuries. I'll show you if fixing your running form is actually worth it, what parts of your running form that has been proven by science to make you run faster with less injuries, and what parts of running form that does not matter. And then I'm going to show you exactly how to train those parts to make you a better runner. But first, is running form even something to pay attention to? Some people say that the way you run naturally is also the most effective way to run for you. So, are they right? A study from 2017 asked that exact question. So they invited 97 runners to come to their lab. Some were just everyday joggers and others were elite athletes. Then they had every runner run on a treadmill and had special cameras that tracked every move they made. Here's what the scientists looked at. How much the runners bounced up and down, how hard they hit the ground, if they leaned forward or stood straight, how their legs and knees moved, and for how long their feet stayed on the ground, also known as ground contact time. Then, the scientists measured how much oxygen each runner used while running. And oxygen is what your body needs to keep going. It's basically fuel for your muscles, so the lower the number, the better. They also looked at how fast each runner could run in races. And guess what they found? The runners who didn't bounce too much, didn't slow down when their foot hit the ground, and had good posture, used less energy, and ran faster. Or put another way, the runners with the best running forms were also the fastest. The study concluded that runners and coaches should be attentive to specific parts of running form to enhance performance. So now we know that running form actually does make a difference. But what part of our running form should we actually focus on to run faster for longer? A scientific review from 2024 looked at all the available evidence. They wanted to know what parts of running form has actually been proven to make you more efficient. More efficient meaning you can use less energy at the same pace, basically meaning you can run faster for longer without working harder. They analyzed everything: stride mechanics, joint angles, stiffness, and ground forces. And then they compared them all to what's called running economy. Now, running economy is how much energy it takes to run at a steady pace. Think of it like your fuel efficiency. The better it is, the farther and faster you can go without burning out. And they found some pretty interesting results. So let's start by busting some common running form myths and look at what doesn't matter. Common myth number 1, a longer stride is better. The study found that when we are running at the same pace, having a longer stride length won't make us more efficient. In fact, trying to artificially lengthen your stride often leads to overstriding, and that increases the braking forces and costs more energy. It's not that a longer stride is bad, it's that landing out in front of your body is. Common myth number 2, a shorter ground contact time makes you faster. The study found that ground contact time, or how long your foot stays on the ground, has no meaningful correlation with running economy. Trying to minimize it can actually lead to inefficient form and higher impact forces. Common myth number 3, more time in the air means better running form. Flight time wasn't linked to better efficiency. Floating longer doesn't help. You're just spending more time in the air without gaining anything. Common myth number 4, you need a faster leg swing to be efficient. Swing time had no relationship with running economy. The speed of your leg swing tends to adjust naturally and it doesn't need to be forced. Common myth number 5, you need the perfect knee or ankle angles. Ankle angles. That's so hard to say. The study found no consistent link between joint angles and running efficiency. There is no ideal form. What matters most is coordination and motor control. So, what things do make a difference? And more importantly, how can we work on them to become more efficient runners ourselves? The study identified 5 key areas. The first one is cadence, or steps per minute. The study found that a slightly faster cadence was linked to better running economy. This means means that increasing your cadence can in some cases help you reduce energy waste. Another meta-analysis from 2022 looked at how changing your steps per minute affects injuries, performance, and running mechanics in recreational runners. They found that increasing your step rate by about 10% can actually reduce the impact on your knees and your hips. That means that if you normally run at 160 steps per minute and increase it to around 176, your joints take less stress with each step, which may help lower your risk of knee pain and overuse injuries. So how do you fix it? You can try to use a metronome app, or you can do what I did, which is to find a playlist with a beats per minute that is slightly higher than what you're running right now. You can find a ton of 180 beats per minute playlists out there, and then you just run to the beat. Don't force it, just think quicker, lighter steps at the same pace. The second finding was what's called vertical oscillation. Vertical oscillation is how much your body bounces up and down while you're running. The review found that the runners who bounce less up and down tended to be more efficient. That's because every inch going up is energy not going forward. Too much vertical movement usually comes from pushing off too hard, overstriding, or pushing off too early. So instead of pushing off behind you, you push off underneath you. So you go up instead of forward. And all of this wastes energy that could have been spent going forward, and it increases the impact forces, which in turn probably increase the injury risk. To fix it, try this. Imagine there's a low ceiling above you when you run, but you can't flex at your hips or at your spine. Focus on gliding forward instead of bouncing up. A great mental cue that I've used for years is imagining that you've stepped in a piece of gum and now you're just trying to wipe it off in the grass. This will help you activate your glutes and finish your stride behind you, which will make you bounce less. The third key to a better running form is to lower the braking forces. Braking happens when your feet are landing out in front of your center of mass. Your center of mass is basically right underneath your hips. If you're landing out in front of your body, you're creating a slight force against you with every step that you have to overcome before you can use that energy to go forward. It's kind of like tapping the brakes when you want to accelerate. Unsurprisingly, the review found that if you minimize the braking forces, then you will become more efficient. Less braking is smoother, more economical running. So to fix it, try this. Record yourself from the side and then look at where your feet are landing in relation to your hips. Aim to land with your feet closer to just underneath you. A great mental cue that I've used is to think that you're landing behind you. Don't worry, you won't, but just having that mental frame of landing behind you will help you get those feet closer to that center of mass. A slight forward lean from the ankles and a bit higher cadence usually does the trick for my clients. The fourth finding was to lower your hip drop during your stance phase. So what does that mean? So basically, when you're running, you have two phases. A stance phase when your feet are on the ground, and an air phase when no feet are touching the ground. Hip drop is when the pelvis tilts side to side when you're running. It's really common when your core and your glutes are not strong enough to keep that position, because you have to realize that running is basically just jumping from one leg to the other leg, and when you're standing on that one leg, you have to be strong enough to keep that position. According to the review, the runners who can keep their pelvis steady is less likely to get injured, and they run faster. And I mean, it makes sense. Less side-to-side movement is more energy spent going forward. If you have this problem, which you can see if you film yourself from the back or from the front, or if you tend to have pain on the outside of the knee, that's usually a good sign as well, then here's what you can do to try and fix it. Add some single leg strength and stability work into your routine. It could be something like single leg glute bridges, step-ups, or side planks. These exercises build that lateral stability that is needed to prevent that hip drop. If you want a full protocol that has that built in, then check out the link in the description. The fifth finding was that efficient runners tend to have less center of mass movement overall. It's not just about the vertical bounce. The review also found that the runners who had less side-to-side movement and less rotational movement were more efficient. Wobbling or twisting wastes energy and increase injury risk. Efficient runners move like an arrow. They are forward focused with minimal deviation from the goal. So to minimize your center of mass movement, try this. Film yourself from the front and from the back. Then look for excessive sway or torso rotation. Pay close attention to your arm swing. If you're crossing the midline, then you're creating a rotational force, and that wastes energy. Core strength and coordination exercises like the A-skip or the B-skip can help your body learn to coordinate your movements to become more efficient. So to fix your running form, what should you actually focus on? If you want to run faster for longer with fewer injuries, then here's what science actually says to focus on. Slightly increase your cadence by 5 to 10%. Reduce your vertical bounce. Avoid overstriding and reduce the braking forces by landing more underneath your body. Improve stiffness through strength training and plyometrics to avoid getting a hip drop and less movement overall that doesn't make you go forward. Minimize side-to-side sway. But biomechanics alone only make up for 4 to 12% of the efficiency between runners. That means that things like fitness level and muscle efficiency still plays a much bigger role on overall performance. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what those factors are and how to influence them to run faster for longer.